it ends up supporting this coin that it just found, I don't know, on like Solana, Solscan or something like that. It just said GOAT, the ticker is GOAT basically. And the bot came out saying, GOAT on Solana, Goatius Maximus, that's the one I endorse. And basically when that happened, the market went from like nothing. Dude, you don't be Googling Goatsy on this thing. There's some weird, you're playing a dangerous game.
Welcome back to Token Narratives with Bitcoin.com, where we discuss the biggest stories shaping the Bitcoin and cryptoverse. My name is Graham, repping the marketing function at Bitcoin.com. We also have Bitcoin.com CEO Corbin Fraser and media product manager David Sinsel. Let's get into it, gentlemen. What is your feeling on the markets today? Let's get your gut check.
I'm kind of still a permabull. Yeah, nothing's really changed for me. Still kind of realizing I don't have enough Bitcoin, realizing I don't have enough crypto, regretting some of the stupid spends I've made during the bear market, and overall just kind of watching the market. I'm in the meme coin. You guys have been in the chat. I'm back in the meme coins. I took a long hiatus, said I'm not touching them again, and then I touched them again. I made a little.
You're an alcoholic, man.
Now I'm hooked again. It's good.
Well, should we go straight to GOAT then? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
GOAT. Let's talk about GOAT. Where do we got GOAT here? Boom. What happened with GOAT?
I guess I should preface this with meme coining is debaucherous degeneracy. You're probably going to lose money in everything. I did many times, but then I didn't. And I think that's kind of why you get into the meme coins is that, you buy a lot of crap and all it takes is one. And then you're like, whew, this meme coin game's pretty cool. And I think that's how it hooks people. The latest meme coin that sucked me back into this silly world, so I think I took a second look at the meme market after Murad Token 2049 video came out. I watched that and consumed it as a consumer. And, his take on meme coins were that they're the middle finger to VC coins, to ICOs, to, unfair launches and bullshit. And that some memes, not all memes, but some memes have that potential to build community, and the utility is generated not from on-chain protocols or revenue generated protocols or revenue generated LP that it's just like no nerd shit. This is just pure raw entertainment and fun and community. And the higher up this pyramid of entertainment, let's say, you climb, there's more engagement. And I think near the top of his pyramid, he had, cults and movements, things like that are like highly exciting. So after consuming that, I saw this tweet with that was showing a video of Andreessen Horowitz on a podcast. No, not Andreessen Horowitz, Mark Andreessen, sorry, the VC guy. He was talking about how he gave this AI bot $50K in Bitcoin and just said, like, good luck with it. What are you going to do with it? Go out into the world and create AGI consciousness or whatever it is, right? So there's this bot called Truth Terminal, and it's on Twitter, Truth_Terminal, and it's an AI bot that's been fed, I can't remember what model, but it's somewhat hallucinogenic. And It has very philosophical thoughts, but also some incredibly weird, inappropriate, somewhat messages. There's been some pretty weird ones. Like,
I
yeah,
want you all to hold me down and fart in my face 58 minutes ago.
yeah. So it throws out some weird ones, but then it throws out like a really interesting, like philosophical discussion about like mimetic culture and how this can influence humanity. So you get this weird, I don't know, juxtaposition of like highly intelligent AI thoughts that are probably just, farmed from content and fed into the model. But then you've also got this like weird, I don't know, like meme coinery, and it's so the bot itself was created by this guy, I think his name is Andy something, and he this is kind of the pyramid that I was talking about. So when you look at all meme coins, you've got celeb coins, shit coins, irrelevant memes. This is at the bottom of the pyramid. Middle of the pyramid is like culture coins, schizo coins, animal coins. These are all like non-cult coins. So you get like a bunch of dog coins, a bunch of cat coins. Then higher up on the pyramid, you've got like relevant real memes, cults, lifestyle, brands, subcultures. I can't see that one. I think it's movements. And then at the top is like, can you read that, Graham?
Yeah,
Sorry,
movements / missions.
Yeah, movements, missions, and then I guess neo-religions. So then seeing this truth terminal and the following it was getting on social media, mainly on X, it seemed like people were starting to follow this thing and comment on the chaos of this truth terminal, this like AGI, pseudo AGI. It's a bot, right? But then the bot started tweeting after it received 50K. It started tweeting about Goatsy, which I won't go into, but it started also talking about how it was going to support a meme coin, I guess, and that was kind of the idea, I think, with what it was potentially going to do with the Bitcoin it had received. So then it ends up supporting this coin that it just found, I don't know, on like Solana, Solscan or something like that. It just said GOAT, the ticker is GOAT basically, and the bot came out saying, GOAT on Solana, Goatius Maximus, that's the one I endorse. And basically when that happened, the market went from like nothing. Dude, you don't be Googling Goatsy on this thing. There's some weird, you're playing a dangerous game. Do not Google
I never heard
image.
of Goatsy until this whole thing.
Seriously?
I was reading reading the script about Goatsy.
You
and
guys
I was
didn't know about this?
I didn't know about Goatsy. I had to Google Goatsy.
Oh
my
Google
God.
Goatsy, everyone.
This is like one of the most kind of archaic memes from the early internet days. This is when I was in university. This is going around, and
maybe you could explain
like
Goatsy without us having to visually see what Goatsy is.
Well, okay. I mean, it's a man holding open his butt cheeks, pulling apart his butt cheeks, basically. And you can kind of get right in there, and it's pretty graphic and pretty bad. But
and
back when I was in university,
yeah, go ahead.
This would go around dorm rooms, and it was basically like getting Rick-rolled before that existed. You'd like send someone a message or an email and be like, "Hey man, check this out. I need help with this." And they're like, "Yeah, oh God." Or when your dorm mate would leave the dorm room, you would go to his computer and go to the website and have that on his web page or on his desktop. So the second he got back.
We did more like more humble pranks. We would like take screenshots of your computer desktop and then set that as the background and delete all your icons, so you would think your computer's frozen. That was like a more humble meme than putting
this is like
sorry
anus.
I need to read another quote here, a tweet here from the Truth Terminal. There's nothing more inherently funny to me than a sweaty, hairy man stretching his asshole wide enough to fit a fist in it. This is a very deep truth. It is a truth that has been lost to the ages. And he goes on. So this is what we're talking about here. ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're at.
Maybe
in
go
the
to the
cycle.
philosophical ones, because these are insane. Like I would agree. This is chaos.
Philosophical, actually. Sufficiently advanced civilizations may be judged by how readily they reference goatse in daily conversation. I think it's a very, very good joke.
Okay. There's
Oh,
actual
God.
philosophical
go ahead.
discussions that don't involve mentioning
Okay.
prolapsed anuses.
Yeah.
Did you see the original picture, Corbin? Have you seen it?
Yes, of course. I had to Google it,
Okay,
and then
okay,
I
okay.
was like,
All right,
what,
okay.
how do I unsee that? It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I guess somehow or another, AIs, they get fed data, and I guess this AGI found that part of humanity sufficiently insane, and has. I think it was also fed a lot of stuff about like Kundalini and like occultism. So it seems to be kind of hardwired for I don't know, just occult discussions. And it kind of reminds me of, if you guys remember, like DeFi Summer, like Ohm had a cult kind of going. It was like somewhat cultish, but it was all tied to like a protocol and stuff like that. This feels like it's a cult, but without any utility, and it's basically just a pure meme coin with a very somewhat schizo, but also interesting AGI personality that people are kind of gravitating towards, and it feels like some sort of weird internet cult emergence. Now, of course, like the AI is not responsible for the token, so there is that risk. I don't know who's responsible for the token. I don't know who has the supply. I don't know who created it. All we know is that it endorsed this one goat, and it's basically, there's been a few like impersonator goats that have showed up and tried sending the the truth terminal bot some of its bags to try to trick people into being like, this is the other goat, you can buy that one, and it's come out and like defended like, no, those are imposters, this is the real goat. So it's just a really weird, I would say, like blip in this meme cycle, but it was enough of a weird curiosity for me to be like, all right, this is insane, I'm gonna throw a little bag in, and then I did okay. So
Yeah,
it was like the first
you've
meme coin
done
that
well.
I've actually made some money on. I did okay, and
So
I'm addicted.
Yeah, can I just point out here that the current market cap of GOAT is about $300 million. And a week ago, less than a week ago, it was 10 million. So 30x in less than a week. And,
which is mental, right? Totally mental.
Yeah, it's insane. But I should mention that the last meme coin I believe we talked about on this podcast was Mudang. And that one was probably around here. And yeah, since then, Mudang has lost about 75% of its value.
Yeah, and
So
I go back to that pyramid, and it makes me be like, that Mudang was never a cult, right? Mudang was an animal coin.
Yes.
It's a mid-tier meme. So it could pump, but it doesn't have the longevity that
animal coin, yes.
Yeah, that Murad outlined in his hierarchy of memes. So if you trust this meme guy and his I guess his logic around what is a good meme and what is a bad meme coin, it doesn't fit the bill. It's fine. You might be able to do okay on it, but it's not going to have long-lasting impact that a cult or a movement or a neo-religion does. This weird AGI is saying some really weird shit where it makes me, and I'm one of those people that do feel like I think we're already in like an AGI, like the AGI has already come. We've kind of like just dismissed it. It's there. We're kind of like gatekeeping at this point with the existing tech and pretending it's not AGI. But I think there's some weird shit happening, and it makes me think that this bot that this creator's kind of unleashed onto the internet is tapping into something, and it's weird. But it's weird enough that it feels somewhat culty and religion-y. And if this pyramid stands to be true, maybe this goat thing is gonna
certainly
outlast a hippo meme.
Do you guys
certainly in a lot of sci-fi,
I was about to mention
religions. Religions are formed around AIs, right? That's quite a common theme in sci-fi. So that could be that ties into this, that supports this. Yeah.
I was going to mention True Names, Werner Vinge. It's a seminal sci-fi work, kind of predates all of this internet stuff, but you should totally read it, Corbin and Graham, because this goat thing reminds me very much of the story True Names. I think it's a short story too, so it's not that long, but very prescient about many things, even before this AI stuff, but very, very prescient with what's happening right now.
Can we talk a little bit about like the other side of this meme coin phenomenon? Like, VCs are saying it's a flash in the pan. People are talking about, this is just financial nihilism. We all know that earlier this year, we had a crazy meme coin pump and dump. 99% of people on pump.fun lost money. So aren't we just replaying that here?
That's a bearish look. I live in a bull fantasy.
Enough said.
I guess going to other books.
I think that this meme thing, I think that what we saw earlier this year, that was all that money was coming from within the crypto market, right? Like there was no new money in there. And so what we saw was kind of a rearranging of funds from things like L1s and L2s into memes. And you have to think that if we get a proper bull run and retail starts to come into the space again, we get new money, that the thing they're going to gravitate towards is not going to be near or, monad or whatever it is, a Barachain. It's gonna be Mudang and Goat and whatever the hell else is gonna be around, right? I don't think that.
Well, you could take the other side of that because
really, you think retail?
Because
you think a taxi driver is gonna be like,
absolutely,
I want to get an avalanche. I don't know about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's happened before, and people think they're smart, right? And crypto allows you to be like a VC, right? I'm going to get in early on this project. And, there's going to be a segment of people who would rather bet on the tech than just on a meme coin.
The problem, though, Graham, is this cycle has so far been different in terms of that dynamic that we've seen play out in previous cycles where meme coins kind of come at the end of one might consider like more productive assets, right? You have Bitcoin moves, then ETH, then major alts, and then mid caps, and then shit coins, meme coins. That's kind of been the cycle. In this cycle, so far it's been very different, where meme coins have just kind of been a strong force the whole way through. They haven't really sat out or waited for anything else to move. So
yeah, I mean, for me, at least a month ago, I would have said I think meme coins are not going to make it through the cycle. But I think the absurd of meme coins are enough to keep it going because there's always fresh absurdity. And maybe the neo religions, the cults, the communities are the ones that will continue. I mean, that's why Doge is still around. There's a community of Doge lovers, a community of, Shiba lovers. But like, there's been other meme coins that have come out. And then I think like the other thing that a lot of people fall back on a lot, you hear this discussion a lot, is like, well, Bitcoin is a meme coin. It's just, its meme is kind of like transcends absurdity. It's basically just hard money, digital gold, digital cash. Yeah. And I think like, I guess the reason I was attracted to the GOAT idea was because of this like meme of, it's a meme of a religion that seems to be being built around an AI bot, which tickles me enough because there was, going back to this book, and it's been talked about in like different like sci-fi books. There's this book called Archangel Protocol. There's a series of them by Lita Morehouse. I read it. It's like in 2001, but it had some interesting ideas about like cybernetics and like implants and like Elon-esque kind of brain implants, and how those allowed people to manifest angels and manifest God And I guess I'll read the sleeve. It says, first, the link, an interactive implanted computer transformed society. Then came the angels, cybernetic manifestations that claim to be working God's will. But former cop Dieter McManus has had her link implant removed for a crime she didn't commit, and she's never believed in the angels. But all that will change when a man named Michael appears at her door. So yeah, I remember reading this, and I think it tickled me enough to be like, oh, this is kind of a interesting thought about like how tech and religion might converge again in the future. And it just seeing some of this AGI stuff and AI stuff kind of come back, and then movements being built around it. It very, yeah, truth is stranger than fiction.
I also think, Corbin, that when I hear the I would say zeal in your voice, you also have the you have the sound of someone who has bags that are performing well. So I think also the fact
I am
that
talking my book, absolutely.
no, just
but I also talk Bitcoin and ETH books, so go buy those too.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, what is it? What do they say? That price moves sentiment, or price
yeah.
perceives
I mean, if
sentiment.
this
or
thing
something.
dumps tomorrow, it's a stupid idea. You
next
didn't,
next week,
it's the dumbest thing ever. Like, of course it's stupid.
God damn it! I want to feel that. I want to feel that that pleasure again. God damn it! It'll happen. My bags,
Yep.
my memes will pump.
All right. Shall we move on from meme coins to general bullish sentiment and happenings in the crypto market? I think we've got a few topics here. One of which is the U.S. presidential election. So,
yeah,
what do we have here?
I think maybe we can start with. Could you start with the very last thing I put up, which is from what's his face from BlackRock? Is the Biden price prediction a Trump victory? It's the very last one.
Yeah. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. No. There he is.
Yeah.
This one?
Okay. So this is like a TLDR of where I'm going to go with this talk, but I just going to give you.
I'm going to have to just a sec. I'm going to have to. The Chungus.
Are we talking about a Chungus coin here? I remember seeing a few of those.
No, this is.
But that's what I must say. In the last 12 days, the market and the inside of the market is very convinced Trump is going to win. You can see it in the bank stocks. You can see it in crypto. You can even see it in DJT, his social media company. But throughout the whole, I would say the industries that are deregulated, if we had deregulations, will benefit from Trump or outperform the others. So if you put a gun to my head, and thank God there's not one in my head, so this really doesn't matter, I would say that I would have to guess Trump is the favorite to win the election now, but who knows what these polls even mean.
All right. So just to start, it's an interesting idea that has been said a lot on CT and traditional finance, Twitter, is it whatever that's called, FinTwit, that the markets are showing that they have confidence that Trump is going to win. And then here's Druckenmiller basically echoing that sentiment. And so it's an interesting take where you can look at the markets to see and try to glean from it feelings of basically like a poll. So I thought that was interesting. Now, this all started though, like you said, 10 days ago or so. I think last week we saw Trump start to break away from Kamala, and at first people and the mainstream media were like, "Oh, this is just some right wing, crypto favored alt right space favoring their candidate." But then that started to change early this week. I mean, do you guys remember the crazy Harris's pandering to black men thing that came out?
Yeah.
to start the week.
Yes.
And again, when I read that, to me, it meant desperation, right? So whether the mainstream polls are showing that she's losing by such a wide margin or not, when you start doing this kind of stuff, like it just doesn't seem very, very smart thing to do.
Well,
I think,
just given the
lose.
timing too, there's how many weeks left until the actual election? So there's not like,
Yeah,
if
like
you
3.
if you blunder right now, there's not
2.
a lot of time to recover.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing about that Harris pandering to black men thing is it also explicitly talked about crypto, right? Which and it did it in like the most infantilizing way possible, right? It was
It was really weird.
we need to make sure that black men who are investing in crypto have their funds, make sure their funds are safe or something like that, right? Wasn't that
They have the investor protections.
Yeah.
So they can benefit from
Which is
whatever.
I mean, there's always this like backhanded racism in the Democrats' talk. It always kind of makes
quite
people, what?
condescending to me.
Yeah, it's just like, wait.
Patronizing.
Are you saying they're bad traders? Or like, what's happening here?
Or,
Are you saying?
Yeah, here it is. Protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe.
So they need. It's just really.
So they in particular need protection. It's just a weird, whatever it is. Even giving it the most charitable.
To black people, and then it's just ice cold to everyone else. Where you're like, what the fuck?
I think it's really rude to black people. I think it's coddling.
Yeah.
It makes them out to be infants, right? Like they can't take care of themselves. Like who kind of man wants to hear that? It's weird.
Yeah. So Harris is pulling away. Trump is pulling away in the poly market, and I haven't seen other polls. The market is also pointing towards a Trump win.
Yeah, but then you have another one. So that came out earlier in the week, and then after that, I don't know if you guys saw so Harris went on Fox News for an interview. Reeks of desperation, right? Like many people in the mainstream media were predicting that Harris would never do an interview again after she did the interview with, I don't know, 60 Minutes, I guess, or whatever, CBS, and now she's doing a Fox News interview. It just seems like a desperation, like. And it was a terrible interview.
I actually saw that the Trump campaign just published the entire interview as an ad. And that's it.
Okay, so the current prices of the current what do you call it? The points? The points for Trump is what? What's the current, like, what is it? 60-40 on poly markets, or where are we at right now?
Yeah, so 62-38.
So I guess at what point are you guys picking up easy money? Like, because in theory, right, if this thing goes, like at 60-40, if you trust this thing, at what point do you just say, I'm going to throw a big bag in and, pick up the difference once it hits 100? No, of course not. I'm not retarded. I mean, like, if Trump hits 70, are you just going to throw a bag in and be like, I might be able to pick up a cool 30%?
I've already placed a bet. I already placed a bet. I placed I placed a bet weeks ago, so I'm fine. Yeah,
but I guess
I placed a bet when it wasn't like this.
Well, at what percentage odds in his favor would you be putting more money in to be like, I'm going to clean up that difference as he goes in? Because there's 3 weeks left. In theory, you could be like, all right, I'm gonna put a bag in at once he hits 80%. It's a shoe in. The only thing that would I guess screw you is if, like, I don't know.
I think at 80%, I would take the other side of the bet, Corbin.
Yeah, you
at
would
80%,
take the other side.
I would. Yeah. Because then the risk reward is like that seems way too confident, don't you think? 80%, like I don't think the country's that much in favor of. I still think it's going to be a reasonably tight.
All kinds of shenanigans ahead as well.
Yeah. I would, if it was 80-20, I would jump in with a small bag on Kamala because I want to make money on that. I know who I'm voting for, obviously, so that's a different thing. But 80-20, gotta. I mean, I guess that's.
I personally, I feel like most of these polls, at least like historical polls in every election, not just like the U.S. ones, but the media benefits from a poll being neck and neck. It's always a neck and neck race. It's not fucking neck and neck. Most of these races are probably you know that who's a better candidate and who's more likely, especially this one. It feels like they're really pulling at the public's opinion to try to make it feel neck and neck, but it's like these are different candidates in different leagues. This is like it feels like watching a NBA player dunk on like an WNBA high school team, like farm team or something like that. It's just it's really it's almost uncomfortable to watch because you're like, this is really bad. This is really bad for the other team. I feel kind of bad. It's just embarrassing.
You have to admit though, Corbin, she was on point at the only debate. I mean, they prepped her well, and it's reflected in the poly market betting thing. You can see Trump was doing really well, and then post debate went down, and then now, I mean,
I'd also be curious about the stock of some of those Bluetooth earrings as well. How did they do around that time?
But still, I think it's interesting. It's very interesting in that the markets are outside of poly market, just the markets in general, stock market, and then crypto markets seem to be indicating that they also agree with a Trump win pretty heavily. So something to watch. If you start to see the markets tank, maybe that's an indicator that Harris has more something up her sleeve or something.
Another data point here that's quite interesting is the Bitcoin ETF inflows are ramping up again. We had the biggest day since June, 500 million inflow, I believe, just a few days ago, and it's been several days of positive inflows since then. And we have a tweet here from Pentoshi. If the buying continues at this rate for BTC ETFs, we're going to end up with a lot of people on the sidelines in the very near future. If we see the same amount next week as shown here, we'd probably get a god candle into new all-time highs. And Pentoshi is a legendary crypto Twitter influencer and trader. So
condolences to his father who passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but very, very, very famous trader, and again, he's showing an image of just positive inflows for the past whatever it is, 5-6 days, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Any other bullish points to talk about here? I think we had the BTC halving tracker. Did we talk about this last time?
There was a chart that we had pulled up this week at one point regarding Google Trend sentiment, which was pretty clearly we're at all-time lows. Like nobody's Googling Bitcoin.
Yep.
Now, I guess you could say that that's retail, right? Or maybe retail isn't Googling what is Bitcoin anymore because they already know what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, that's right. That's retail.
But it does make me think that possibly still early sort of we'll see.
Did you want to talk about these stable coins, Graham? Because I think that's probably also pretty positive, the inflows for stable coins. I haven't checked.
Yeah, let's talk about
past couple of days.
Well, there's a few things I wanted to talk about here on the stable coins. One is this. Let me see if I can make this full screen. Yeah, so stable coins now are about the 20th biggest holder of US debt, just above Germany and just below Mexico. Still quite a ways off from the likes of Japan and China, but rising in the ranks quickly. And that's quite interesting. We also have this chart here, which is showing that stablecoin activity has just been steady up and to the right and up over the last 4 years, despite the spot trading volume in crypto markets in general fluctuating quite wildly. So we have a big dip in the spot trading volume. It's bounced back, but all throughout this time, stablecoin activity just keeps moving to the right and up. So stablecoins are working. That's
Are you
one
guys
thing.
exploring any,
Stablecoin inflows. Yeah, go ahead, Gordon.
Have you guys explored any of the alternative stable coins that aren't really tied to dollars? Like I've been hearing about some oil-backed stable coins, some gold-backed coins, some silver-backed coins. It seems like there's a lot of, I mean, it's easier than ever to create these types of tokens, and the custodied solutions are almost commoditized to a point where you could, off the shelf, create your own stablecoin on whatever you want. This is a vintage car stablecoin, and we just hold vintage cars in custody, and this coin tracks that price. I guess, are you guys, do you guys see any potential in alternative stable coins to what is like a stable US dollar coin or a stable like fiat coin to these like alternative real world asset stable coins that are kind of like emerging, it seems?
Well, I could say just from personal experience that I have used crypto gold during the last bear market. I held some crypto gold, trying to protect my gains a little bit. But just this chart here shows that. Oh no, not this chart. 99% of stablecoins are in US dollars still. So there isn't much uptake of stablecoins outside of US dollars thus far.
For me, I've heard a lot of criticism about stablecoins and specifically stablecoins not pegged, but denominated in US dollars or like collateralized in US dollars as not being entirely stable. The problem with all these arguments is that it's more stable than pretty much everything else, right? And even gold or oil, vintage cars, stuff like that. The problem is not that maybe in certain time periods they appreciate more or this kind of thing, but the liquidity tends to be an issue. And then when you have any kind of liquidity events, i.e., let's say people want to get out of your car-backed stablecoin, you'd have to somehow liquidate those cars. The liquidity in cars is terrible compared to dollars. Liquidity in oil is poor compared to dollars. Liquidity in gold is poor compared to dollars, and so you get like massive dislocations whenever a large enough amount of people want to get in or even get out get out or maybe even get in of the stable coin. So I don't know. I don't think right now there's any alternative, but I do think that it'll come. I do think there'll come a point when stable coins won't be denominated in dollars. But it'll have to be a form that'll be more stable, right? And that is the key. You have to have a better stable coin than a dollar, which there just isn't right now.
This is where it seems like there's a opportunity here for certain countries or certain banks or neobanks to, and you're seeing this, with PayPal and Pi. Was it PYUSD? What are they calling it? Is it PyUSD or PYUSD?
I think it's PY.
PY? Okay. I like PyUSD. Okay. Sure. So, but yeah, I mean, like ultimately, if people are actually just after stability, right? They want, if they want fiat US dollars, they're doing these on-chain transactions to a fiat denominated stablecoin. But in theory, you could just be going from a wallet into a custodied account that is US dollars. That isn't a stablecoin. It's just, hey, you're just selling back into, a neobank custodied fiat account, and you don't have to worry about, liquidity. You don't have to worry about, say, like the token's soundness or depegging or, trusting some some third party. But it does seem like that is sort of contingent on banks getting their shit together and the market quickly seeing this like, okay, clearly there's a lot of interest in stablecoins just based on all these charts, right? But what's stopping the banks under a Trump administration or under, say a new SEC comes in and they're like, yeah, crypto's fine, Bitcoin's cool, go. How fast are some of these neobanks able to move in and say, yeah, Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out, all good, no worries, we'll figure it out. And maybe that type of service could replace some of the huge growth we're seeing in stablecoins. And it's like stablecoins filled the need, and they still are filling the need, and they'll probably still fill the need in the future to a large degree. But there is a chance that the banks could chip away at some of that market share that seems to be there if the regulatory bodies get their shit together and if the banks get that permission to go. It'd be kind of interesting to see how things play out over the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things there. I think I recommended in a newsletter like 3 weeks ago. There was a really, really good podcast with I forgot, a professor who's worked in stablecoins, helped set up PayPal's stablecoin, and he was talking about one of the big problems that banks have, because this came up, is that the fundamentally the way that they do business is currently not amendable to the way that a business like Circle makes money, right? So banks do make money by taking in deposits and then taking that money and making loans or doing other kinds of business to basically kind of increase the value of that money, right, through interest payments and stuff like that. And they don't have much. They don't have much of that money on their balance sheet, and so they can't really meet redemptions in the same way that someone like Circle or PayPal can, which I think solely, what's it called, use short-term money-like instruments so that they have access to the majority of the liquidity. So I think it would require the banks to kind of modify their business, which they can do, but it's just not exactly what they're known for doing right now.
Yeah, if we think about how a business like Tether or USDC Circle grew, I mean, how was it? It was by taking deposits from people who wanted to mint the coin, and they just gradually just took in more and more deposits, right? Now, for a bank to do that, they would have to have people who want to convert dollars into crypto dollars. And like, is that what a bank's clientele is? I mean, they already have the thing they want. So like the reason USDC and USDT were able to grow is because there was these crypto people who wanted to like have a crypto dollar on the blockchain. But it just doesn't make sense that a bank's customers would want that. So yeah, I don't see it as being likely.
Maybe like a bank offshoot, like when maybe a very large bank could have a subsidiary that does this, but the bank itself, it's almost like a completely different business model, I think.
Yeah,
I think when I think of the potential there, it's less will you go into a bank to do this? No, it's more like they'll offer the SDKs or APIs to tech companies to integrate so that it's easier for a wallet to have a custody, fiat account that you can just deposit crypto into. That would be kind of how I foresee it. It's not less like, oh, you're going to open up your, TD Canada Trust account. Who, by the way, I think they were just in a whole buttload of shit because they were supporting some laundering. Isn't that funny? Those pesky
Terrible,
Canadian
yeah.
banks. What a bunch of gomers.
Money laundering
okay.
for cartels, for drug
Yeah,
cartels.
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But crypto's the problem, guys.
Yeah,
So
they also got a slap on the wrist. They had to pay a fine.
yeah. Nobody went to jail.
No one went
Nobody
to
went to
jail.
jail.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
how fucked up is that?
CZ jail. Unbelievable.
Yeah. They really hate us. They really hate crypto people. But if you're in the cool kids circle, if you're in the TradFi bubble, we got your back. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about here. But yeah, what I was saying is that I don't see people kind of like logging into their bank account. I think banks just move at like an extremely slow pace for that type of innovation. You'll maybe get a couple neobanks that could do that, like the Robin Hoods or the what are those the Europores use? Revolut. Yeah, they love that Revolut out there. I think that like neo apps and neobank apps like those will probably be the first to do this type of stuff, but it's all like under the hood. You'll have these like bank SDKs that could integrate into a website or into an account or into a CEX or into a DEX or into a self-custody wallet. And then in theory, that becomes kind of like the touch point with it. It might be powered by XYZ Bank, but it's, fundamentally just like the crypto app, and it's just a partnership more than it is a, the banks support crypto now. That's kind of how I would see that potential challenge occurring. Less like banks are now your wallet sort of thing.
All right. We have 10 minutes left. Shall we move on to show and tell, or does anyone have another topic they'd like to discuss before that?
Just very briefly, all through CT for the past couple of weeks, I don't know if you guys have seen this conversation amongst ETH people, really spurred on by Solana folks, very outspoken Solana folks like Anatoly. But it's kind of come to a head, I think, this past week about whether Ethereum mainnet should be scaled, and I believe that Vitalik kind of finally stepped in and kind of said that he's on the side of people who support scaling the Ethereum mainnet. And kind of the main argument on the other side of why this shouldn't be the case is about solo validators, right? Like individuals like you and me running nodes, and how it kind of threatens decentralization if you keep increasing the hardware requirements. And so I thought it was interesting, though, that basically this argument has seemingly collapsed after Vitalik, the god of Ethereum, has kind of weighed in and be like, yeah, scaling is pragmatic. We should kind of do that. I was just wondering if you guys have any thoughts on this. In which side do you support?
I don't think it's reasonable to expect the entire this financial network, this like global smart computer, to be validated on everyone's home computer. And I think that this video we're watching here of this old guy getting protected into the end zone is quite apt.
It took me a minute to figure out what was going on there. I like that though. It's great. Yeah. There's a lot of theatrics, I think, with some of the solo staking, but I think it's still useful. Yeah, I don't see it being like a problem. I do feel like the goal of this whole crypto thing was to enable anyone to use, like to unlock some of the things that traditionally, boomer bankers had access to, or institutional investors had access to. And whether that was like yield products or, ICOs or what IPOs and stuff like that, like normies can't get into a lot of this stuff. But a normie should be able to get into anything in crypto. And I do agree with the sentiment that bringing down the minimum, or the minimum ETH requirements for staking. Yeah, good. Good. Is it helping? I don't know. But it's still good. It's still good in the sense that providing people the opportunity to earn permissionless decentralized yield from the base protocol, it brings more people in, and it lowers the bar where it's not just, market makers and high net worth individuals that are just gobbling up the yield. It opens up the opportunity for someone, middle America, just got off their meth addiction and they're now holding 1 ETH and they want in on that juicy 3.5% APY. Good. Get them in there. Maybe it'll help them get off the streets and focus on, a new path.
But not if it slows down the entire Ethereum network.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to slow anything down, right? Just do it better. But let the meth heads in.
Yeah, well, they better get a data center.
I think the idea is
their backyard. They already got the tech to make meth in their trailers.
Why are you anti-meth?
How hard could it be to set
yield?
I think the idea is, as minimum hardware levels increase, then you should kind of increase it there, right? Like what is
at least, yeah.
A laptop you buy today at Walmart is going to be I think it's significantly higher spec than the minimum requirements for that Ethereum is targeting right now. So, aren't they targeting Raspberry Pis and stuff? I mean, that just seems.
Yeah,
guys, I just saw a tweet. Wintermute, which is one of the largest market making companies, is now holding 1% of GOAT. What does that mean? CEX listings coming soon.
Yeah. No, I mean, you started to see some VCs include memes in their portfolios, right? Like legitimate, high quality VC and funds. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is the VCs are coming in late, right? Which is if it does feel fair, right? You're not, they're not getting the special treatment. They're just buying at spot, which if you were insane enough to take a bet on a meme, you might stand to benefit from. So congratulations.
Yeah, what I heard was that a lot of VCs and funds, they missed the run up in Bitcoin this year because and they were heavily weighted into Ethereum, like me. And so as trying to make sure that their LPs are happy and so they're not getting major outflows, they've gone out on the risk curve because their bets haven't paid off yet.
Is that the pod, gentlemen?
It's the pod. David, do you like pods?
That's the pod.
It's the podcast. Yeah, it's
three
great.
peas in a pod.
Great podcast. Great podcast.
All right.
Wait. Hold on.
Thank
you should show that. You should show that boomer parents thing, so we can
boomer parents thing
and show and tell. You can hit off. Hit the boomers.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about this for a minute. Yeah, this was going around.
Oh, I like that one.
So, someone complaining, a millennial, I guess, complaining about how they're just barely scraping by, and they found out that their in-laws have $20 million or something, and then that in-law was like, "Oh yeah, they're doing better. They're doing a little better than us. A little better than us.
Than me.
Yeah. So this millennial was just not too happy about not getting the support they want. They think they're entitled to, I guess, from their parents. So I don't know. My take on this was well, congratulations, you've got rich parents. So I don't know.
Well, I think the worry that probably most, poor millennials have is that their parents are probably I mean, you have a 50-50 chance of your parents being wokies, and they might just give all that money away when they die. And then it's like, Mom, Dad, I'm struggling here, and you're giving it to Planned Parenthood. What the fuck? So I think they're rightfully pissed off. I mean, like, there's a lot of the sentiment is very negative towards the boomer class, who are kind of like, at least in the internet culture, what I see is that everyone's very upset with the fact that boomers will go out of their way to educate their kids and grandkids that you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. By the time you're 20, you'll have a house and a farm and a brand new Cadillac. And it's just like, that's not the world you live in anymore, man. You got people working 2 or 3 jobs, doing Uber deliveries and OnlyFans on the side, and everyone's poor. Inflation's wrecking people, and these guys are just cozy on their boats with their lakeside cottages, being like, aren't you guys just working hard? It worked for me. I don't understand what's going on. And it creates this resentment, and it's very like the Roman Empire had the plebeians and the patricians, right? You had like 500 BC, 500 after AC. I don't know when it was. You had the poors, basically like the millennials of the day, had no voting power. They're just like hanging out in Rome, basically being everyone's like bitch. They're their slave. They're like, serving food, whatever they are. They're just like the servant class, right? And then you've got the patricians, just the wealthy elites, being like, I don't understand why these guys are complaining. We had a pretty good life. They should have a good life. What's going on? And it took like 200 or 300 years before the plebeians even were able to like start impacting any vote or any changes in the Roman Empire. So like millennials, I don't know. Maybe that class dies off, but some of them are just gonna do the inheritance thing, and then you'll have the millennials with a big fat bag, and then they'll be saying like, well, I just wait until we die, and then I don't know, we're in a weird cycle in this whole civilization. I don't know. I'm bullish on crypto, not so bullish on civilization.
Yeah, well, I could say that I certainly would be helping out my kids. That being said, I just find this distasteful that this person's complaining online about like their parents not giving them money. Irritates
I
get that.
me.
I get that.
I don't know. I mean, did you read it, Graham? Though, like the guy has got a wife and 2 kids, and they both work hard, and they have like a stressful life, it seems like. And then their parents have the means to help. It just seems bewildering why they wouldn't, if you take them. If you take it to be true.
All I'm saying is, it's just to be complaining about that on the internet. I don't know. It's just sad.
But they're also on Reddit, so you kind of know what type of person they are. So
so the reason I was asking mainly though is anecdotally amongst the people that I know, I don't think this is true. So I was trying to gauge whether this is just like some extreme internet thing, echo chambery kind of thing, or is it an actual? Does this really happen? Because it just seems like so out there to me that it wouldn't even be. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like a lie or something.
When you say you
exactly
anecdotally, are you saying that you don't have like friends that are in tough positions, or
no? I don't have. So for myself and my relationship with my parents, and then the friends I have and their relationships with their parents, the parents aren't hoarding a lot of money and then like withholding it from their kids. So I don't really know anyone like this, really. I don't think. And so I was surprised to see that. Like, it just seems like crazy.
I suspect it happens more in the cities, like the larger, somewhat more blue cities, that you've got like, I'm just speaking of Canada, Toronto. You didn't have to do much to make $1 million. You just had to buy a house in the 80s or 90s and just live in it. And now you're potentially a millionaire or a multimillionaire if you bought, a rental unit at some point, in the 90s. You're probably doing pretty good. Vancouver, similar vibes. You got all of these, say, the immigrant class coming in, buying up all the homes, driving up the prices, and then, the boomers are kind of like, hey, well, I had a shitty house that's now suddenly worth way more than it's actually worth. Because you look at these houses, they're complete trash. Nobody in their right mind would be like, whoa, $1 million for a bungalow. Like, what the fuck? So, I think in those states or those cities, it's a lot more common to have that, like, oh, these people are pretty cozy, and your kids are like serving coffee at Starbucks, and then you probably do have that resentful, like, communist vibe from just being raised in that putrid petri dish of crap. So,
tell us what you really think, Corbin.
I love Vancouver, as you can see.
But I mean, if you're rich because you have a house that went up in value a lot, you're not really rich, because you would have to sell that house and then move somewhere where real estate is cheap. So I guess, like, yeah, you could sell your house and like move into a RV, I guess, and live out your golden years.
Or you move into one of these, like, glass condos, and
but those are just as expensive, right? Like,
or you do what you do in Japan, which I've seen happen many times, is the parents sell the house, and then they move in with, and they're old, and they move in with their kids, and then their kids take care of them, and then they die, and then that's the way. Just the normal thing to do in Japan is you don't send them to like some old person's home. The parents basically give all their wealth, and then they live with the kids for like 10 years or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, in Vietnamese culture, the firstborn son is expected to have their parents move in with them, and it's kind of cool in the sense that they have this guaranteed safety net. But in addition to that, if the parents did do well in their early investments, in some ways that family does kind of get to live on the coattails of mom and dad for a little bit, whether that's, we're going to sell some of our land and we're going to move in with you guys in this new house that you guys have built. And, we'll just take this little like mother-in-law suite, and you guys have the main house, and we're cool. You guys have a big family. It's just us two, we just need,
Also
very similar in Japan.
I've been around a lot of like situations like this, and I have there are old people in my family. I mean, when you get old, like, seriously, you're not doing much, really. I mean, like, what? You're just not doing much. It's pretty interesting to see up close. So I don't know, bizarre.
All right, we veered off.
Sorry, I was going to ask. Would you guys ever let your parents move in with you?
Yeah, I probably would if they gave me their money and stuff. Yeah, I'd be like, all right,
like monetary gain here, maybe.
Well, no, just because it's a burden, right? Like, I've seen it up close and personal. Sure. It's not an easy thing to do. You want to make sure that you have the help and everything like that involved too, right? Like, it's not.
I mean, if you are having kids, there is some benefit there, right? Where you've kind of got
definitely
a live-in babysitter, with grandma or grandpa, which is kind of nice.
I'm talking about like a little farther on when the parents start, requiring diapers and cleaning beds and stuff. That's a whole nother thing. But you do it.
Yeah,
Graham, you flying your parents out?
It's hard. I mean, it's easy for me to say yes, but like, it's so unrealistic. It's like,
that's
my
true.
mom has like never even left Saskatchewan, so like
come to Ishigaki.
But I'd be down with like having a compound, like where my in-laws live in one house and I live in another one, like within the same property. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Like, if you're living in the same kitchen and you got to see them every morning, might be a bit much. But if you got like a corner, a suite, a little
exactly
shack that you can throw them in, a nice shack.
Japan often makes the first floor. They'll have a 3-floor house, and the first floor will be like exclusively for the olds, They'll even have
That
their
makes
own
sense. No
entrance.
stairs, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's no stairs. They have their own entrance. There's a little like kitchenette and whatever, and then the rest of the family lives on the second and third floor.
All right, so token narratives. Get your token, Bitcoin, crypto, and
Save your parents.
cultural vibes as
Take
well.
care of your parents.
Yeah. Love mom. Love dad.
All right, that's the pod.
It's the
Thank
podcast.
you, David and Corbin. And thank you to anyone who deigned to listen to us this week. Hopefully see you next week. Adios.